You have?
Yes.
You write a book at the end, or
I could write a book. But at the last convention I went to, not the last one, it was the one before, I was in the dealer's hall, and I was selling the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge shirts and everything. And I'd been there all weekend. And obviously a lot of fans come up and they say hey, and they want pictures and stuff. And opposite me there was a young girl who was selling like art and stuff. And she came up to me after the dealer's hall had like been packed away and was closed down on the last day. And she said, "Excuse me, LittleKuriboh?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she says, "I have a question." I'm like, "Okay," because people sometimes are like, "How do you make videos?" Or "How do you edit lip flaps?" Or "How do you do the voices?" Her question is, "Do you feel like a pedophile?" And I'm like, "Why?" And she says, "Because you hug all these young girls." I do now. Just the most awkward question I've ever gotten. What about you, Tucker? Have you had any awkward?
The nipple question. No, that was one of the more awkward ones.
The nipple question?
Yeah.
You know about that?
You told me about that one twice.
It was the first, like, the first ever Q&A I did. Somebody asked me, "What color are your nipples?"
Because.
And the answer was nipple colored. Which, you know, leaves it up to the imagination, but I have a running joke with those girls now who ask that. But I actually, the first time I ever got completely wasted at a convention, and I wish I'd brought this video. Oh, that would have been perfect if I brought that video. Could have shown that. Because I was dressed up as Naruto, and I got drunk on sake, of all things, because I had no idea how to drink it. And I genuinely believed that I was Naruto at one point. That's how drunk I was, and I was eating noodles, and I said, "This tastes almost as good as Sasuke's ass!" Well, oh, jeez.
Someone want that baby.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She doesn't seem to care. The young child.
Actually, at Manifest, we were doing a photo shoot thing, and
Oh, yeah?
there was a 8-year-old girl dressed up as Vegeta and her little sister, who was like 6. She was just in a maid outfit with a pan, and she's like, "Hey, Vegeta," as a little girl, and then, "Oh God damn it, Nappa!" Little girl saw me, and one of them hit Lanny with a frying pan.
With an actual frying pan?
It didn't actually hit him, but it was an actual frying pan. Yes.
I know at Acon, I don't know if it was Acon, but somebody threw a lettuce at you guys.
Yo, that was at Chaoticon, someone threw cabbage at me.
Cabbage at you?
And so
Why?
I've been thrown up because Napa is Japanese for cabbage.
Oh.
My cabbages!
Nobody throws things at me. I feel like an inferior celebrity.
People throw dog biscuits at me because I played Goldo.
Really?
Yes, that's happened multiple
That's
times.
awesome. Anyone throw anything at you, Howard? Someone throw something at Howard.
Money is okay.
Well, just...
That's your room key card.
You guys have Smarties in Canada?
Yes.
That's all. Do you guys have the only Smarties have the answer at Look campaign? Yes. Awesome. Do I want some stories? Oh, no, I'm good. If you have stories, though, feel free to share. Yes. You want to come up and tell our story? Go up and tell the story. Tell us.
Tony, it's been so long. I'd love a Smartie. I missed.
Alright, so, first time I met this guy was 2 years ago, Anime Evolution. Yeah, you remember the story. Good times. Alright, well, he was cosplaying Naruto. Yeah, he did that a lot. And he had like a cigarette, and he was like, so, and I didn't know what it was from, but it was funny. I thought he was doing it as a joke. So, yeah, you were doing it as a joke. But there was this contest going on at the time called the Worst Cosplay Contest.
I remember that.
You remember, yeah, you remember that. So, I walked up to him and I asked, "Hey, are you going to the Worst Cosplay Contest?" And he had this smile, he was nodding, and then it just went. And then I stopped. I was like, "No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Your costume's really good." And he was just like, he was devastated. The best part about the story is, like a week later online, I was scrolling through something and one of his fans made this big post about how some jerk had said that his costume sucked, and then he went home and cried. And I was like, oh shit, did I make him cry? Oh my god. So I sent you a message and I'm like, did you cry? Did you cry? Did you cry? Oh. Oh, okay. So that was my story.
Do you have any stories about like people treating you in a certain way because of your show or anything?
Something actually happened today in the dealer hall, like an hour ago. Yeah, someone came up and was like, "Oh, are you TehExorsist?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "You're a lot shorter than I thought." I was like, "I'm a lot, yeah," and I was like, "I'm a lot shorter than I thought too."
So then you locked Leia in the cell and you just left on the Death Star, right? Oh, no one got that joke? Oh my god. I'm sure they got it, they just didn't like it. How not to be internet funny. Captain America. I got that. But yeah, I don't really know how to lead into what I was going to talk about, but my rise to internet fame, and this is I kind of want you guys to walk away from this panel with like a lesson learned of how not to do things the way I try to do them. Because I don't know how many of you are on the internet, well I see a lot of you, but back in the day, when webcomics were a huge thing. They're still a huge thing, yeah, but back in the day, before like YouTube existed, webcomics were kind of like the way to be, I guess, a big deal online. I guess AMVs sort of took over after that, and then a bridge series, and now it's all YouTube, like new media and everything. But I got on the internet in, I believe, 1998, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I wasn't LittleKuriboh back in the day, because Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't a thing. And it wasn't a thing for me for like almost 10 years, but my original online handle was LokeDog, and everyone thought I was a very large, intimidating black man. And I'm not a very large, intimidating black man, just to dissuade those rumors. Maybe people, what? Oh goodness. But I went on this chat room online, and I did the thing that a lot of really stupid teenage boys do. I fell in love with a girl in a chat room. I fell in love. I had a crush on a girl in a chat room. So the way I wanted to express this feeling of adoration was to rip off her webcomic and make my own and be like, I can do art too. Look how talented I am. And it was terrible. It was called The Tongue. I wanted to impress this girl with my tongue. I don't know. But it was actually not based on it, but if you've seen Wayne's World, there's a scene where Garth goes into, he goes into like, is it Garth? He has this whole thing, he has an aside to the camera where he says, have you ever seen that Twilight Zone episode where the guy signs a contract and he just becomes a tongue in a jar? And that episode doesn't exist, apparently. And I said, what if I took that idea and made it a webcomic? And it was a very bad idea. And in a bit, we will be showing you my comic, and we'll probably be voicing over it. It's really, really bad. I don't really know how to. Are you okay, Howard? I don't know how to leave. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's really, really bad. I had 5 webcomics at one time because I realized that this was some way of expressing my creative energy, and I didn't know how many people were reading it. It turns out none. But I had 5. I had The Tongue. I had a spin-off from The Tongue called The Fairest Sex. I had something called Down to Earth. I had Fruities, which was based on a very bad Spanish cartoon about fruit that lived on an island with a young girl. Let me tell you the story of this show. This girl is stranded on this desert island, and the fruit can talk. Never an issue. She never seems confused by it. She's trying to find her parents. These fruit have access to the internet and a hot air balloon which they use to travel all over the world on fantastic adventures. They never think to go to a police station and ask them to find her parents. She's been kidnapped by fruit on a desert island, and to me it's the most messed up story. So I wanted to make a webcomic, and I wish I'd brought that one, but I wanted to make a webcomic that basically told the story in like a really dark, disturbing way. That he's talking through on an island somewhere. And I think I did another comic. What was it? I forgot. But I had at least 5 going on at the time. Oh, there was one that was like a really dead serious comic, which I might actually rework into a script one day, but it was called The Final Seed, and it was like it's set in a fantasy world with zombies, and it was Game of Thrones. Only a webcomic.